So far this cycle, already 36. That is the grand record over the last nearly 100 years. My goodness gracious. That actually beats the former record in total, which was 34 back in the 2018 cycle. And that wasn't that long ago. And I do recall that was a very, very good year for House Democrats. The bottom line is this: you don't run for the exits unless you know trouble is brewing. And House Republicans so far believe trouble is absolutely brewing.
Oh, it's definitely brewing. You know, despite what my left-leaning detractors have to say, Republican politicians, power brokers, the people who actually have positions of power are garbage. They are, okay? And I've never held back from saying that. But I believe in the American people, including conservatives. And conservative voters are pretty furious with what's going on right now. I mean, I know CNN put out that poll where they're like, oh, 100% of MAGA totally supports what Trump is doing in Iran. What is this, North Korea? Okay, that poll is not a credible poll. Okay, whenever you have 100% response in favor of something in a poll, it's not a credible poll. Obviously, their sample went after individuals who identify first and foremost, their whole identity is I support Trump. Yeah, they're gonna go ahead and support what Trump is doing no matter what. But when you look at the whole of the conservative or Republican electorate, yeah, it is fractured right now because of this war against Iran. For good reason. And so you have to make that distinction, right? The politicians are different from the voters. Save your ire for the politicians. Now let's watch Enten explain what sort of trouble he's referring to.
Some elected officials aren't so smart, but many of them are. And they're looking at the same numbers we're looking at. And what they're looking at is the president of the United States and his approval rating. So why don't we just take a look here? Why are GOP retiring? Okay, when the president's approval is less than 50%, I went back all the way through the record books, all the way back since 1938 in midterm elections. When the Press Party in the House, on average, loses 34 seats. Loses 34 seats when the president's approval rating is less than 50%. Donald Trump isn't anywhere close to 50%. He's at 40%. The average, the House for the president's party, they lose 34 seats. The least was just 9. That was actually Joe Biden back in 2022.
Yeah, Republicans are in a lot of trouble. And today, interestingly enough, on Piers Morgan's show, he had a guest who basically just confessed, yeah, Trump's pretty much given up on the midterms. He knows Republicans are gonna lose. No biggie. Great democracy we're living in. Now, Craig Berland, who's the chair of the Maricopa County, Arizona Republican Party, told Politico that ever since this war against Iran was launched by Trump, Republican voters have seemed to be pretty unhappy. Let me give you his quotes. He says, "We're even going around canvassing neighborhoods and registered Republicans are yelling out the door, go away, or I'm calling the police. I find that very discouraging." Well, you should be discouraged. Republican Party deserves it. But honestly, the whole of our government deserves our ire right now. Because where is Democratic leadership? Why is it that the loudest voices against this war happen to be people like Marjorie Taylor Greene? That is insane. And I don't think that's insane because it's like, oh wow, it's shocking that Marjorie Taylor Greene would be against this war. It's shocking because Democrats should be a lot louder, a lot more aggressive in fighting back, not just against this war, but also against sending endless amounts of money to a genocidal country that is now invading Lebanon and openly announcing that they're going to essentially annex the southern part of Lebanon for themselves, 15% of the land. But anyway, getting back to this story, voters' frustrations, Berland said, stem from the war or the economy, and the economy is defined largely by energy prices. Sure is, Berland, sure is. So that's where the voters are at, and I'm here for it because it's about time that people wake up and realize that we're always constantly stuck with one of two terrible options. And unless we start holding our preferred parties accountable for their dog crap behavior and lack of leadership, nothing's gonna change in this country. It's that simple.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.